Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builders Supply, and this video is to bring you a closer look at the National Manufacturing. This is their part number N189-696, also known as a V1342. This is the direct authorized replacement for the Stanley CD1702. If you were to have ordered that CD1702 according to the factory, this is the same item. Absolutely, and when someone asks for that CD1702 fluid controlled door closer, this is what's going to be sent in its place. I don't know the relationship between Stanley and National. I think it's Stanley bought National Hardware. National Hardware, an Illinois company that's been in business for over maybe 115 years at this time. They manufacture builders hardware, lots of little piece parts. They make threaded rod and metal shapes, and they're known also for barn door track. Back in the old days, when someone would come in and want barn door track and hardware, National's who you'd go to. They wouldn't supply you with the light-duty bypass and bifold or pocket material, but if you wanted to hang a 500-pound door, National would have been our go-to. But they had several other items that they would sell. Items made of steel like mending plates and corner irons and things of that nature. Well, they've continued to phase into other stuff, but when Stanley took their line of builders hardware, and it's now being manufactured by them to a certain extent, this is an example of that sort of relationship. Okay, so a storm door closer. Now there is a link below this video to these installation instructions, and let's take a look and go over that at this time. And this document that you see is nothing other than a scan of the back of the packaging. And you will see over here, let's rotate that so we can see it a little bit better. Aluminum tube, steel rod, die-cast zinc end cap, black painted baked enamel finish. Sometimes that's called bright black japanned as well. Tools needed: 5/32 of an inch drill bit with a power drill and a screwdriver. That's what you're going to need. Now, the back of the installation instructions. Going to allow us to take a look right at your jam bracket, which is included, okay, your instructions on how to drill the pilot holes, and the rest of the material that's considered as included here. The thing to note is that there's really not much to do here. You don't need to measure anything because it's going to be understood as the door being in the closed position when you lay this out. So wherever you are going to apply this, it makes it seem like they're installing this on a mid-rail. Obviously at the top of the door is common. I've seen heavier doors have two of these installed, one at the top and one at the bottom. I don't often see them in the mid-rail, but I suppose if you do have a wooden storm door that you might want to consider placing it there. So you have your hold open washer, which we're all familiar with. You'll open the door. You'll then slide this in place, and that's what's going to hold the unit obviously open. The ability to control your rate of close is going to be by physically turning this cylinder. Okay, and a half turn at a time is what they want. I'm going to say you'll be able to adjust that as necessary. Generally, adjustment's not very necessary. And then a note on replacing the right 440 closer without removing the existing door bracket. However, the pin must be retained. So this is what they're talking about. This can stay. You'll need the new pin. Oh no, the old pin you'll use, and the rest will prove to be compatible. Then, of course, you have your... And looking at the installation instructions as we slide over, so to speak, a bit. Where you're going to have the door bracket here. Okay, so that's just going to get positioned, and your mounting point is obviously going to be A. Your screws are going to go into B, but what they're really telling us here is that you're going to drill in this hole here and then over at this end. But when you're ready to make your, when you've got it installed, you're then going to slide this over a little bit, putting a little bit of preload on this cylinder. Okay, if you don't, and that preload is going to allow you to have the door positively bring the door, the closure to bring the door all the way to the 0 degree position. Without that preload, I think you'll find that it may not get to 100% zero, and that's really where that's coming into play. And if you needed, you know, you've got one additional hole, should you need to move it over to there and slide it over. But that's the recommendation that they're looking for. There's really nothing else here in terms of installation instructions. There is not much at all on the front of the package. And let's just take a look at the front of the package now. Okay, so the front of the package is here, and as I had said earlier, hydraulic door closer, lots of language, lots of words, but you know it's triple the amount that you might need. Fluid, smooth, no bounce action, adjustable closing speed. Okay, and that's again going to be accomplished by rotating that cylinder. The hardware that you're going to need is indeed included, and now we're going to cut this box open. We're going to take a look at the screw package, as well as a couple of basic dimensional properties of the unit. I want to be able to capture that. Weighs about 1.15 pound each. 1.18 pound each would be fairly accurate for the weight of this. We do like to indicate that information when we can. Okay, here we go. There's that cylinder. Okay. I'm certainly not able to pull that open. I might be able to with the pin, but there's really no reason to cycle that. I want to go over the screw package to make sure that everything's here and that we understand what everything is. So you're going to need, of course, your hold open clip or hold open stop, your 2 pins, there is no way to retain those, so be sure to drop them with the head, with the top side coming down. I don't believe you'd ever have a chance of those coming out because the closer is always going to be under tension. That preloading of pulling the rod a little bit further out. Yeah, we can pull on it a little bit. Pulling that rod out a bit is what is going to allow those pins to always be under shear. Use number 1 to install. Use number 2 for a glass panel as well. The 30 position for screen panel. You know, they must just find that a door that's got a little more flex in it, like a screen panel, is going to require a little bit more pulling force. I can't really comment on that absolutely. Okay. So a couple of pins, which you'll need. You're going to, of course, need your screws for your jam bracket. And they don't indicate. You've got 4 screws for your jam bracket. Okay. We have our 2 pins. We have our 2, oh, here's the bottom line. We have 4 short screws, 2 that are for wood and 2 that are for like aluminum. So these screws are going to be what you'll use on the door bracket itself. And that exhausts all the parts that are in this packaging. Couple couple of basic dimensional properties. Overall length, the way it comes out of the package, stem to stern, so to speak, about 13 inch. The projection of the arm, about 1 inch and 5/8, inch and 11/16. The diameter of this tube, 1.03. 1.03 is the diameter of that tube. A nice black enamel finish. Okay. Now finally, there is a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can review all of the national manufacturing products that we sell. There's a link to a product catalog, but it's not really a current product catalog, and there really isn't, to my knowledge, a current published product catalog. Every time, and it's not been a lot of times that I call national, but when I do, a couple of things. They always refer me back to their website. Number two, they are always able to absolutely answer the question. This is an old school hardware company, and they've got people there that are trained on their product line, and they know it really well. And that's greatly appreciated because they have been able to provide me information well beyond what just some company with a website is going to be able to provide. I've asked for technical drawings of stuff in the past when I'm researching hardware that's decades old, and they are incredibly accommodating. I would absolutely encourage you to review their product line and to work with them every instance that you can. And it's just because of how great of a job they do, in my opinion, in the customer service department. They're really great. Their technical support people are the same as their customer service reps. They do a great job. If you have any questions on the National, this is their part number N189-696, V1342, storm door closer, or any other National product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you.